Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And this is CarnagePanda.
And we are back for the semi-finals of summer 2018.
Yes, this is the penultimate week.
It most certainly is. It's sad. It's sad it is nearly over. But it is over for some. Some it is over for.
Yeah,
and it's depressing.
It's making me very sad, especially... Well, we'll get into it later.
Right. But, man, it's been a fantastic season. It has truly been a fantastic...
Yeah, there's no good shows this season.
What?
But I kind of disagree.
Who says this?
Some people.
Some people are dumb.
Yeah, that's the name of the person is Some People.
Oh, well, find someone out there named Some People and slap them, because they are wrong. In fact, we're going to talk about how wrong they are right now with our top 5. And coming in at our number 5 this week is the finale of Dropkick on My Devil. Jashin-chan Dropkick.
That really makes me sad that this is the finale.
Yeah, and it was...
I'm going to miss this show.
I'm definitely going to miss it, but I'm not going to miss this episode.
Yeah, this was not the best episode for a finale at all.
They really bait and switched us with last week when they were like, next time on Jashin-chan.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's like, oh, she lands the dropkick. She's going to kill Urine. Oh my god. And the dropkick, I mean, it even starts, and I will admit, I laughed at the beginning. Because it starts off, Jashin-chan narrates her dropkick, which apparently she's dropping for a good minute and a half. You know, she's dropping, like, their ceiling must be no higher than, 7 feet tall, and she's drop kicking for a minute and a half. And she's, like, narrating how it's, like, the first dropkick, to open the episode, the final episode of the season, like, totally breaking the fourth wall.
Well, they did this joke back in the first episode, too, where she's like, the first episode is also the finale.
Yes.
So, my feelings about this episode are just meh.
Well, I mean, it was kind of funny. I mean, Jashin-chan actually, she finally succeeds. She kicks the crap out of her, but she doesn't actually kill her. It's like, oh, all that workup that the dropkick was the thing that was going to kill Urine, send her back to hell. It finally lands. It doesn't murder her.
Well, this is like her ultimate attack too, and it doesn't kill Urine, and Urine is sick.
Yes.
So, from like an RPG perspective, Urine just has like some massive HPs.
Either that, or Jashin-chan is the bard from Final Fantasy IV.
We're not going to go into that. I have very strong feelings of hatred and rage.
As you should. So, let's see, what was the episode about? The finale was Jashin-chan takes care of Urine while she's sick. She claims it's not because she likes Urine, but because if she allowed her to die, her friends would shun her.
When has that ever stopped Jashin-chan from being just totally vile before this episode?
I don't know. It's
kind of like that episode of Hanebado where Connie goes out of her character.
Yeah.
Did not feel like Jashin-chan.
It didn't.
Would do this at all.
Nope. Though I did like it because she calls Minos and Medusa over. It does lead to a fun scene with Minos driving them to the hospital in her car. I mean, that actually kind of cracked me up. It was actually kind of fun to watch.
Well, this show is actually really funny when it knows how to land the punches.
Yes.
But this episode to me felt like those 2 episodes in like the middle, like, was it 5 or 6?
4 and 5.
Yeah, we just did not like those episodes.
Yeah.
They did not land the jokes whatsoever. The rest of the series is great, though.
Yeah. This episode, well, that's part of the problem. In this episode, it didn't really feel there were jokes. There were no jokes to land.
You know what? You're exactly right.
There was some slapstick, like May returns. The cop was obsessed with Jashin-chan, and it's kind of silly, but there's no jokes there. It's just a little bit of slapstick, and they quickly push her off screen, like quite literally, and it's. it's almost like it's almost like a review episode. It's like, hey, remember this character and then this one? They're all in a giant group together doing a thing. They go to the Sakura.
They go and watch the Cherry Blossoms Festival,
and
which whatever.
And there was like the one skit where Urine is just contemplating over the fact that her friends are fucking immortal, and she only has 70 to 80 years to live. And sort of like this weird little
70 to 80 years.
Well, I mean, the grand scope of things versus someone who's immortal.
Personally, I find that 70 to 80 years is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You have to actually find stuff to do to fill up that time.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just going to be a really long slog.
Yes. So there was no real jokes there. It was just sort of like I guess, supposed to be a character bonding moment, and it was... I guess it was interesting, this contemplation of, a human lifespan versus immortality, but it didn't do anything. It didn't go anywhere.
Well, this is not the show to actually debate these kind of concepts, because Jashin-chan is your... Okay, these guys are horrible and they're doing terrible things, and this is the funny show.
Right. I think there was all of one funny scene in the whole episode, to be perfectly honest. For me.
For you.
It was... Urine is dictating to each person what they're going to do to take care of Urine.
Yeah.
She's like, Minos, you drive us to the hospital. Medusa, you pay for the hospital. What was the dog's name? I can't remember the dog. He's like, the dog...
I think it's like Cerberus or something.
Nah, she gave it a weird name, and I was like, oh, was that its name? Oh, okay. It's like, you, stay here and do nothing. And that was the part that genuinely... I was like, okay, that was funny.
Well, you know what? There was the other funny scene where... Urine bullies Jashin-chan into eating bread.
Yes! Okay, I did forget that. Yeah, there was a brief skit of them going to buy bread. It was like, yay! Adventures of buying bread!
But, you know what? It worked for me.
I guess. I mean, Urine did say the most honest thing, and everyone should agree, is that the inside of a bakery smells amazing.
These are actual facts.
Yes.
They're not debatable, too.
Nope. Anyone's going in the comments going to say, I don't like the smell of the inside of a bakery. You're lying. You are a liar, sir or madam. Either that or you've never been inside inside of a bakery. But yeah, it's like the whole thing culminates in Jashin-chan being tricked into saving. She's trying to do all these villainous things.
Yeah.
And
she's like my villain. I'm going through withdrawal because I haven't been a villain forever.
Yeah, so...
A day.
So she's tricked into saving this little girl's balloon that goes up and it gets stuck in a tree. And for reasons unknown, it carries her off into space. The balloon carries her to space. Meanwhile, as she's flailing around as she's going through the city, it shows these like brief little montages of all the characters throughout the show. Including her sister, who... According to the episode description, is named Persephone, but I don't ever remember them saying...
Persephone 2.
Yes, Persephone 2, which I don't remember them ever actually giving her a name.
Yeah, she's just wandering around like, Jashin-chan, where are you?
And then sees that Jashin-chan tries to run after her. Still never figured out why she's there, or what her purpose was, why she came to find her. And she goes off into space, and waves to some aliens, and...
Yeah, it's just... a really bizarre ending.
Yeah, because the ending is she drop kicks the screen, breaks the screen, and then speaking English. She is not speaking Japanese. She says "Hasta la vista, baby," and it's
That's English.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she's not speaking Japanese. She's not. It's not a Japanese translation of it.
I've learned some new English words today.
Shut up! I know it's Spanish, but the word "baby" is not. It's a line from fucking Terminator. Fuck off.
Okay, so she does her best Arnold impression.
If you want to call it that. But yeah. And it just sort of just ends. And the problem is this episode, not many of it was, not very much of it was funny at all. In fact, 90% of it wasn't funny.
You know what this feels like? This feels like one of those shows that you really like.
Yeah.
And then they cancel it halfway through the season because reasons.
You know what this felt like to me? This was Evangelion all over again.
I disagree with you on that.
It's like, oh my god, I'm loving this, and then the ending happened, and you just go, What?
I mean, there's that, but the ending of Evangelion is just so far out there, and what the fuck are you even doing at this point?
But I mean, in the comparison of, it's just, you know, you're loving a show, and you go into the next episode, you're excited to see it, and you just go, what? That was the finale? What? So...
I think we were way more confused when we watched that show and got to the end.
I think
we were with this. We were just disappointed with this.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think everyone was more confused with Evangelion. But, I mean, there was actually a reason behind those episodes, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, that was Dropkick on My Devil. Its finale didn't live up to the show whatsoever.
Very disappointing finale.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not going to say it was, like, offensively bad, like those 2 episodes of Honey Bado from a couple weeks ago. It just...
I mean, there is a show that was airing this season that is offensively bad, but it's not this show.
No. So, with that, we're going to go ahead. Jashin-chan's done. And... You know, we'll talk about what we liked about the show in its entirety next week when we talk about the finales. But, you know, our favorite moments, our worst, you know, moments we didn't like, and the show as a whole. But this was today's episode. It didn't live up to the rest of the show. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next entry in our list.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, and let's talk about Review Starlight, which is our number 4 pick this week.
Yep.
And I somewhat don't understand.
I think I understand, but I'm not sure if I understand. I mean, Jeffrey definitely understands. He seems to always understand. But,
okay, so I went into this episode just looking at the thumbnail of the episode on High Dive, and I thought, okay, we're going into worst timeline here. Everything's gone wrong, and there's no happy ending. But that's not even what the episode was.
I'm confused. Okay, so it starts off, Hikari, she won by their backstabbing of Karen and chucking her off the stage.
Yeah, Jeffrey's like, well, looks legit, you're the winner.
Yeah, they didn't go through their openings or even begin a fight. Karen just basically gets shanked, and it's just done. And Hikari basically refuses to make a wish.
Yeah, she was basically playing that song that you like to quote a lot. She's like, yeah, I don't even care about this. I refuse. And Jeffrey's like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. He's like, no, but there has to be fuel for the final stage or whatever. It has to come from somewhere. And she's like, no. You're not taking Karen's shine. Fuck off. You ain't doing it. I refuse. Fuck you. Oh no, what did she say? She's like, hey, she's like, weren't you the one who wanted to see the most interesting, spectacular show? Or the most...
No, she said this is going to be the stage that no one could predict.
Yeah, like she worded it in a way that like just what Jeffrey wanted, or something to that effect. And he's just like, I understand.
You know, I think that Jeffrey is just a dick.
Yeah, it's possible. And then suddenly, everyone wakes up in their beds, and they're told that Hikari, while they were all asleep, packed up, grabbed her stuff, and dropped out. She left. She went bye-bye. And this devastates Karen. Karen is fucking devastated.
Yeah, it devastates her so hard that she decides she's gonna learn English.
Well, not for 6 months, it doesn't.
This is basically the episode is skipping around. It's like 1 day after, 2 days after. Karen's totally distraught that Hikari's gone because apparently her world revolves around Hikari.
Yep.
And there's nothing else in this life.
Yep. Well,
they skip to 7 months later, and Hikari's still gone. No one knows where she is.
Well, it shows like throughout all the little time skips, it's like Karen is obsessively texting her, trying to call her. Like her number's been disconnected. She tries to file a missing persons report and can't say where they were because of the Starlight thing.
Because of the fine.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
And it's it's actually quite heartbreaking to watch. You know, she's absolutely and her the chick who's in love with her is always by her side, and she's like putting up with the constant neglect.
Talk about Mahiru here. She's totally dedicated to Karen when Karen is like, she's just fucking in love with Hikari. This is like her soulmate, and she's been completely devastated from being cut off from her.
And it's showing in her practices. Like, they're practicing for Starlight. Of course, Colleen and Maya got the top spots, and they're practicing. And she, like, the B team who's watching them practice, like, Karen, this all you got? I mean, seriously, the fuck is this? And it's almost as if her shine did get taken, even though Hikari refused to do it. And I think what they're trying to point out is that what Karen's shine isn't necessarily her own shine. Like, her shine comes from her promise to Hikari. So Hikari refusing to make the wish to keep Karen from losing her shine, by her suffering the consequences, Hikari suffering the consequences, it's still hurting Karen either way.
Well, I feel like, Jeffrey just made it so that Hikari didn't exist in the world anymore.
Well, he did. We found out he did remove her from the world.
Yeah, he removed her from the world because he's a dick with wishes.
He's the Calypso from Twisted Metal.
But, as far as Karen goes, I have never seen anybody obsess over another person like this, except in, like, psychological flicks.
Psychological thrillers, or
what is that one Stephen King novel where the woman kidnaps the author?
Misery.
Yeah, Misery.
Yes.
And she does all sorts of terrible things because he killed off her favorite character.
Yeah.
And she just goes into full psycho mode over that. And this is the only way that I can think of, the only thing that it reminds me of is those kinds of relationships where they just go completely abusive.
Yeah.
And, like, we're just missing that part from Karen, but that's what it feels like to me.
She hasn't done anything physically destructive to any person yet. Maybe mentally and emotionally with Mahiru, because Mahiru's there by her side the entire time and she neglects her every second of the day.
How dedicated is Mahiru to her lesbian relationship with Karen?
That doesn't exist! They're not even in a relationship!
Just totally is oblivious to her, and Mahiru is, like, there for her every single day, every single hour.
Yeah. So, at some point, Karen, she finds Hikari's English script of Starlight Gathering. And she's like, I can't read this without you, Hikari. I can't read it without you. And she tries. She tries to phonetically sound out the English words. And then she just, like, says, fuck it. I'm translating this into Japanese. And it spends, like, the next weeks, with the help and encouragement of all the other stage girls, sitting there just every waking moment translating the whole goddamn script.
Yeah, so then we get Karen's fan translation of Starlight as she figures it out.
Yep.
That because the way Starlight ends is that I can't remember the names of the characters in the play, but the one gets knocked off the edge like Karen.
It's Claire and the characters are Claire and something.
Well, I can't remember which one of them goes to which
right.
one.
Okay. Yeah.
The one basically parallels Karen, where she's like constantly falling off of every building that is ever in existence.
Right.
And then the other one gets shut off into the tower, and we have our parallel between Karen, the girl that's always falling.
Yes.
Because she's accident prone or whatever. And then Hikari is in a cage in Giraffe Land.
Yes. And she figures it out. She's like, wait, I got this. And she then proceeds to go all Gordon Freeman on this bitch.
Yes.
Breaks out a crowbar and proceeds to start beating on the wall where the elevator usually is. And she says the magic words, apparently, and meanwhile she was beating at a mortar wall, just until finally she says the magic words and it's a door, and she crowbars that shit open.
She does make a terrible mistake, however, what you pointed out.
Yes.
Is that she should have kept the crowbar because she probably needs to club this giraffe to death.
Yes. And she fucking leaves it behind. And if anything, she should have at least put it in a position that she could have held open the doors.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even do that. But she walks down the stairway, and magically she's visited, I guess telepathically, by the other girls who happen to be there. They have to give her encouragement. She goes through the door, and she sees a pillar, an obelisk, I don't know what you would call it, with Hikari's...
Yeah, let's just go with obelisk.
Like little, her little thing, her hairpin.
Stars.
Yeah, and Karen then proceeds to say the thing she always says right before a fight. Right before a stage girl fight. The doors open, and then it pans inside, and you see Hikari totally in the nude, by the way. It's like, I almost was like, okay, should I be watching this? This is a little girl in the nude. And she's in a barren hellscape.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out if it was like snow, or she's in some salt flats, or
a desert.
What kind of wasteland this is.
But like the only thing there is her blue jacket thing over her shoulder, her naked, busted up version of the pin, and the Tokyo Tower on its side. That's the only thing in this world. And that's where it ends. And it's like, God damn it, don't end it there! I want to see what happens.
Yeah, like, they just totally put us on the cliffhanger, and I was still invested in watching this show. I'm like, that's the end? What? No, keep going.
Exactly. I mean, don't. It's those things where you're going, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, you get into the good part, and then they just totally rob you of it.
Yep. It's like going to sit down in a chair. You're like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this, and then someone yanks a chair out from behind you.
So my hopes for the show is that it doesn't pull a Jashin-chan and we get a bad finale.
I honestly think we're going to get some kind of conflict between the two. Because she went through her whole speech, the things that people say right before they have the stage girl fight. I mean,
yeah, this may be the case because, Hikari kind of like cheated to get, like,
yeah.
Jeffrey's like, yeah, that's exactly how you do it.
So yeah, it's been a while since we've been this confused with this show, but we're still highly invested. We cannot wait for the finale. It's going to be, and we're really excited for it. But that's what we're going to talk about after we see it next week, because we're going to have to end this talk here and move on to our next entry. And coming in number 3 this week, finally in the top 3 of our list, after weeks and weeks and weeks of either being in the 4th or 5th position, is Cells at Work. I think it's possibly
it's finally broken out.
Yes, but I think that's only because Dropkick fell so short.
Oh yeah, that's probably the reason.
And this episode is Hemorrhagic Shock Part 1, which hemorrhagic shock, as defined from what we did a really brief search on it, is when the body loses 20% of its blood, or something to that effect, or more. So it's actually a cute episode at first. 3803, I think her name is? Red Blood Cell, I think her number's 3803.
I've never paid attention to the numbers throughout the entire series.
Well, I know White Blood Cell's 1146, that one, or 1148. But, I think hers is 3803.
Where they say there's like 32 trillion cells at the beginning of every episode. I can't keep track of them. There's too many of them.
37.2 million cells, or something, trillion cells, something like that. But anyway, she is, even though I guess she's not even a fully qualified red blood cell, I guess? Which is weird. I thought she was. But her senpai makes her a senpai to another red blood cell. What's the underling of a senpai called? Kohai.
And she's leading our heroine, our red blood cell, is leading her Kohai around while holding the idiot ball for the entire episode.
Well, her Kohai is the obvious stereotype of absolute book nerd, has memorized everything but has no real world experience. But obviously thinks that she's the best because she knows everything because she's memorized it all.
We have to wonder if her senpai has any real-world experience either.
Well, no, it's proven that she does. Later in the episode. But it's a funny episode. I'll dare to say funnier than Jashin-chan was.
Oh dear lord!
In that she's, we're back to typical red blood cell. She's always getting lost. She's always getting. I loved when they met with white blood cell.
Oh,
white blood cell's in the middle of murdering a fucking weird-looking bacteria we've never seen before.
And when he says murder, he means murder.
He's ripping it apart. It's funny because like the new red blood cell, the Kohai is like, aren't white blood cells all just barbarians who think justice equates violence? And he's like, no, she's actually really nice. And then she goes over and shows him like ripping it apart with his teeth.
Yeah, like how white blood cells actually murder bacteria and stuff by eating them.
Yep.
And he's really into this murder thing because like they do censor it by not showing the body, but there's just fountains of blood all over the place.
And it's funny because I love how he's calmly describing the jobs of a white blood cell and how he's a good guy and everything. Meanwhile,
my job is to brutally murder this guy right here.
And it's like it has this like,
put that on your resume.
It almost felt like the ending of Jashin-chan where it's like going through all the characters again. It does that with this episode. It's like we meet the killer T cell again. We meet with what's the chicks with the huge weapons and the maid outfit?
The macrophages.
Yeah, we see the macrophages and the memory cell. We see B cell arguing with the chick who does the antihistamine, or the histamines rather. It's all cute. It's all stuff from past times. We see the white blood cell who wears pink, the ones who's good against parasites. It's a whole who's who of all characters.
Whole cast out there.
And red blood cell's trying to be a good senpai, keeps fucking up because she keeps getting lost, and she's always panicking in her head. And then it's like, the narrator's like, and it was such a good day, and everyone had a good day until
the Fire Nation attacked.
Until the Fire Nation attacked. It literally was, because remember in episode 2 or 3 when there was like the big atom bomb went off and there was a huge hole? Magnify that by 10. Because a giant explosion happens. And I think they describe it as like there was a blunt force trauma to the head.
Yes, so Truck-kun was busy attacking the body of our... whoever this kid is. This unlucky person is.
Yeah, this unlucky or irresponsible person, we're debating... I think we both came to the consensus we believe this person got struck by a truck.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
This is taking place in China... and he has walked out into the street, and there is no good in here.
So, it actually turns into kind of a scary thing. Like, they actually really hype up the tension of this scene.
Yeah, this is kind of going kind of grimdark here.
It's almost like a War of the Worlds going. Like,
yeah.
It almost turns into War of the Worlds. And all the red blood cells are worried about what's happening, and... there's like sirens are going off and the bloodstream's like kicking up and getting faster. And they don't know why. And what was it? White blood cells, like it shows him he's going off. It's about red blood cell. How I said she has real world experience. Suddenly she's in her element. Like the newbie. What's the word again?
Kohai.
The Kohai is she's like panicking. What's going on? This wasn't in my books. Oh! And suddenly, like red blood cells, like, look, this is not the time to panic. We need to be calm right now. And she's like, she stops being the blundering idiot, and she's like, she's in charge. And it's just.
But she could just be the blundering idiot that has too much confidence.
But they don't play it that way. They actually play it like she knows what she's doing.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, but they play it like she knows what she's doing. She's intelligent. It's like. Again, book smarts versus street smarts. She may have blunders and she's dumb, but she knows what to do in these situations. She's been through them all. And she takes charge. And it's like, okay, cool, she's taking charge. And they're doing what red blood cells do. It's like, like they tell the red cells, just keep delivering the nutrients. Do what you gotta do. Keep doing what you do. Meanwhile, white blood cell, he's, 1148. He's going out. He's like, there's influx of bacteria in this area, and they're probably attacking red blood cells. I need to go to where they're congregating. And he goes to where they're supposed to be congregating, and there's no red blood cells to be seen. They're all gone. Like, you see a hat over there.
You see a hat, and you see a glove, which is an obvious allusion to Michael Jackson.
Sure, we'll go. I'm not arguing that.
But this is kind of where it starts getting really dark. Like,
yeah,
what's going on here? I've been saying throughout the entire season that this is obviously marketed towards children.
Yeah.
Like, really young children. But at the same time, they're always pulling this over-the-top gore and murder with the white blood cell and what looks... Well, we are in the final arc because this is a two-parter.
Yeah.
What looks to be like just a catastrophic, which probably is because he got hit by a truck, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's like... They said hemorrhagic shock when the body loses 20% or more of its blood cells. So, from white blood cells' perspective, there's 37.2 trillion cells in a body. 20% of that that's like, what, 300 and... multiply that.
That's just your blood, man.
Yes, 700,000 red blood cells have just vanished.
Well... never mind, I'm not...
No, go, say it.
Well, he's like... Well, not the white blood cell, but... So, we do have him going into there, and it looks like just Armageddon went through there.
It looks like Thanos went through there.
He's like, where's all the cells? So, they said that the guy, whoever it was, got hit in the neck or the head or something, and this is where the injury occurred. So, it might be that our person got their head just evaporated into red mist. Which would just be a terrible way to go, and I'm not sure they would be willing to go this far with this sort of show.
No, I don't think they would go that far. But I think it's like, remember you always see like the scenes where like the cells get sucked. I remember again with the other episode with the big hole in the ground and people got sucked out.
Well, obviously, you're getting like bleeding out of the wound with those, but this is hemorrhagic shock where it's just bleeding profusely and it won't stop.
So
but somehow it stopped. Whatever.
Well, it may not have stopped. Remember, they're trying to portray it in this fashion for to make it understandable for children. So I mean, so it ends there, and it's just like, again, just like with Review Starlight, it's like, God, don't end there.
Yeah, about these cliffhangers here.
They are getting us ready for that finale week. They are absolutely prepping us for finale week. I want it to be finale week right now. God damn it.
You just have to wait another 7 days, though.
Fuck. So this was a really good episode, and they really... There's been other episodes they try to build up tension. They tried to do it with the cancer episode. This episode really hyped up the tension. And I really like, because more than any other episode, it showed how an ordinary day in the life just got ripped to shreds for the people of this body. For the cells of this body.
Whoever they are the cells of, I just feel bad for them because they hit the wrong... This is like when you're going to play the slot machines.
Yes.
And you just happen to be Jashin-chan, and you're getting whatever it is that, the symbols that are just like wiping you out instead of getting all sevens.
Yes. Bar.
Yeah.
Or something, I don't know.
Whatever. It changes with each slot machine.
That's true, yeah. So, yeah, we're hyped for this. I want to know how they're going to pull through this. I don't know, like, hemorrhagic shock, that's one of those things, the body can't recover from that on its own, can it? Like, that's one of the things you need medical attention for.
Well, I did not go to evil scientist school for medicine, so I can't tell you.
I might be wrong. I just imagine when you lose 20% or more of your red blood cells, you would need a blood transfusion or something.
Well, let's hope they're not a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, and with that, White Queen, and moving on.
And we're going to move right into Hanebado, and this may be the first time I've ever seen the evil overlord come through with the power of friendship.
Yeah, that was so weird. So, we're continuing on from last time. The match is, heating up between Aragaki and Ayano. And it's... Oh god, they go into so much, like, badminton terminology
there's a
and
lot
lore.
There's a lot of analytical stuff in this episode. They're like
about how the shuttle's created with a counterclockwise or clockwise formation with the feathers.
Ayano is left-handed, so when she hits the shuttle, it gets rotation, and that causes it to veer off course or whatever. It makes it harder to hit.
And it's a lot of it is like for at least the first half of it is a lot of technical badminton stuff about controlling the field and how the shuttle's shaped and the fact that she's left-handed does this. It's very technical stuff. But it's very fun to watch, though. God damn.
This does feel like your typical shonen battle,
but
they're not trying to actually kill each other.
They treat this match as if this is like a shonen battle. The fate of the world is in the balance.
The fate of the world hangs in the balance of this match.
And they are treating it like that. Like they're having banter back and forth like a protagonist and an antagonist in a great battle.
Yeah, this is how they end like every arc in a shonen battle. This is shonen, but it's not battle.
I'm waiting for one of them to like pull out this hyper move that is like, I learned this from the 16th century mage that has this technique, and it's like, and then there's the long stretched out name.
This is the long forgotten technique from the 15th century that has been sealed away.
Actually, they did because like Aragaki finally whips out her smashes. She's been holding them back. She finally whips it out. And Ayano is just sort of pulls out this super technique where apparently pulling her feet off the ground, jumping backwards, gave her just enough movement to knock it back.
Cool.
It was, but it was still the guy who we called Hadoken guy for the longest time. He's sitting there like, she didn't come up with that move on her, on the spot. She's been perfecting that technique for years.
Ever since she was a baby, she's had that technique in mind.
I mean, there's not really much we can say about the match itself other than it was really fantastic to watch. And it boils down to they both win a set. It's one, best of three, they both won one.
See, that's one thing I didn't like about the episode because it was definitely predictable.
Yes, we knew it was going to go that way.
Because Aragaki, or was it Ayano that wins the first match?
Ayano wins the first match.
Okay, so Ayano wins the first match, and she's like, I only have to win one more match because she's super cocky. She's one of the Sith,
Yeah, and she's got the little blonde-haired chick and the chick with her eyes always closed, on her side, trying to. Being there, trying to as a teammate.
They're supposed to be in her corner. She's
and they are. They're in her corner. They try to give her encouragement, but they're scared of her.
but since she is a Sith Lord and fully enraptured in the dark side, she's like, you guys want Aragaki to win, don't you? I know. You don't have to say it.
Well, that's not the Aragaki wins. When she wins, she's like, you did a great job out there. Yeah, I know it. She's a cocky little bitch. And then when Aragaki wins her match, she sits back down and is like, you don't have to pretend. I know you're actually here to sabotage me. You want Aragaki to win.
Yeah.
It's like blah, 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 blah. And it's this weird thing where all of a sudden, everyone in the stand starts clapping and cheering for Ayano. Give it your all! Give it your all, Ayano!
Yes, our evil mistress. Let's clap for her. She's...
Because, in the beginning of the third set, she's not even trying anymore. She's losing. It was 8-0?
Well, they said that Aragaki had tanked her, that she was out of energy.
Yeah.
Ayano was on the ropes.
So, but then everyone's like, oh, the evil bitch. Yay!
We love evil in this show.
So, like you said at the front, it's like the Sith Lord rallies through the power of friendship. She even has this montage of her head of all the scenes where she wanted to be part of a team.
This is beyond a doubt the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Just the power of friendship for the evil person. Where, I actually commented to Featherhoof is Ayano the protagonist or the final boss? Because her behavior is typical of that, super overpowered guy that your shonen battle character meets up and is having a hard time defeating, and he's sitting there and mocking them. That's Ayano. That's her to a T.
But then the whole crowd cheers for and encourages her as if she was the protagonist. And I was like, what is this? So, meanwhile, while that's happening, Elena is still talking to Ayano's mom. And even Ayano's mom admits that she's an awful parent. But she says, I have no regrets.
There is a song that goes with Ayano's mom.
What's that?
It's from South Park.
Gee, I wonder what it could be.
But, she comments, I might be a terrible mother. No, it's completely wrong. You are a terrible mother.
Yeah. She basically outright admits she left Ayano so that she could be a better badminton player. Because apparently Ayano was using badminton as a crutch to hang with her mom or some shit, and it was actually kind of confusing. I'm not a child psychologist, but there's some things I do know about child psychology. Something that it's like when a child is abandoned, and they perceive it as abandonment, that causes psychological issues, which the writers and animators of the show rightly show. Meanwhile, Ayano's mom's sitting there, I'm proud of myself. Look at what I did.
It's like, what are you talking about? She's like, Ayano is about to hit a new level.
Yes, I was just about to say that. It's like, I have no regrets because Ayano is about to hit a new level.
And you know what? When she said this, I was like, what are you even talking about? What is the logical basis behind your statement?
Like, she goes into this, like, meta, like, sort of like, she tries to pretend like she's being philosophical about sports. She's like, very few people can make a living on sports, and one injury and it's done, but there's nothing like that thrill of being out there on the court, and this, that, and the other, and this is what I want Ayano to feel, and this, and it's like, what the fuck? This is the worst. If this chick ever wrote a parenting book, somebody needs to, like, report her to some kind of child agency or something.
Well, like there's a lesson to be learned here. This is like an Aesop fable.
Yeah?
Don't be like Ayano's mom, because your child will become a Sith Lord.
Yes. It's almost weird, because it's like, at some times, I feel like the show's almost promoting or celebrating that.
Yeah, I would say that you're correct.
It's like, the whole give yourself to the sport and this, that, and the other. Giving herself to the sport turned her into an asshole, on top of her parental abandonment issues.
Like, I don't even believe that giving yourself to the sport necessarily means that you have to go down the path that Ayano went down.
Yeah. And she's like, and Ayano's mom's reasoning, I wanted her to not depend on me. Ayano, her internal monologue is constantly, I need to win so that I can abandon my mom. It's like,
first it was, I need to win so that I can get mom's attention.
Yeah.
And now that she's gone full evil, she's like, I need to win so that I can abandon mom?
This show is so weird. It's like, the badminton, the matches when they actually do badminton matches is so fun to watch that it makes up for its weird psychological message. Which is like I've seen other sports anime where it's like, give yourself to, to the technique, to the sport, like in martial arts, give yourself over to martial arts and be the best at it. Hajime no Ippo, where he constantly has to sacrifice to be the best boxer he can be. And, this is like, it's trying to do that, but with the weirdest, stupidest message of child abandonment and psychological torture.
As an aside, I did read a few chapters out of the manga.
Yes, you said you were going to do that last episode. Yeah, how did that work out?
The people that were saying that this deviates from the manga,
yeah,
what the fuck were they talking about? Because the manga is almost, step by step, panel by panel, what this show is showing.
Well,
what?
I think that was when we were questioning Connie when she came back. Apparently, either that time or the time before
probably
was
some
a deviation.
cut material out of it. Like, I didn't read the entire manga.
Okay.
And, it's a common thing for them to cut material out or add just bogus stuff in there.
Well, one of those 2 Connie appearances was not canon to the manga. And they weren't even canon to the show. Because, I mean...
This is very true, because there's some really weird confusion going on there.
Yeah. So, yeah... Hanebado is, like I said, it's fun to watch. This episode in particular the match was spectacular. Watching it, and again, getting all the monologues of all the people watching it and then breaking it down and explaining it. It was really awesome. It's just, that message they're putting forward with Ayano's mom is just so ass backwards.
Yeah, they... whatever. My only regrets with this show is... next week is the finale.
Yeah.
And what we're going to get is either Ayano or Aragaki win. I'm just going to leave it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
This match is actually meaningless, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
well, it actually is.
Neither of them have to win this match to go off to finals.
Yeah, they're both already in nationals.
Yeah, they're both going off to the nationals. Match is totally meaningless. But they're going to wrap that up, and that's going to be our finale.
And watch it be some kind of bullshit thing where Ayano suddenly forgives her mom, and Ayano's mom learns nothing.
God, I hope not.
It's like, oh, I'm going to be so pissed if that's
I
the
will
case.
drop this show down to a 0 out of 10 if that happens.
So, be prepared for it to be at number 5 next week. We'll see what happens. But for now, guys...
Dear God, no.
But for now, guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to end our talk on Hanebado here. It's very strange. If we're missing the point... If one of you all there thinks we're missing the point, please put it in the comments below, because I would love to know I'm missing the point. It's like, it's actually, no, you're actually misreading it. It actually means this, and I can go, okay, I feel better about that now. Because I don't feel good about this show and the message it's putting out there at all.
The message, child abuse is okay.
Child abuse is okay so long as it makes a better badminton player.
Yeah, what?
I don't... And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our number 1. And our number 1 this week, as if you didn't know, was banana na.
What?
Na fish.
Are you saying it's banana fish?
Yes.
Wow, I really had no idea
I know.
this.
It's as if this show isn't fucking fantastic or something. Because first off, one of the first lines in this show had us reeling in laughter.
Take notes, Jashin-chan.
This is how you make jokes, even if they weren't intentional. First off, we realized the gangs in New York in this timeline, in this world, have the best names.
Dude, like...
The Quasars.
The Quasars, like... So move over, West Side Story. We got,
we don't need no jets and no sharks. We got the Quasars and the goblins. And, what's the black group called? What was the Black Sabbath?
Yeah, Black Sabbath. Like, what? Come on. You're naming them after rock bands, and it's awesome.
So, Arthur's learning that the guy they killed at the end of the last episode, apparently his name was Wookie. I know. He gets killed, and then
the best line in the history of the world.
Oh god, I gotta get this line right. Hold on. The line was, they killed Dick of Goblins. Dick of the Goblins? They killed Dick of the Goblins?
Yeah, so they cut over to Arthur, and some dude's like, they got Dick of the Goblins. And we're like, what? Is that some kind of disease? So we had to rewind it and watch that. And this is like a recurring gag within this episode, is that they'll cut over to Arthur, and they'll be like, he got so-and-so of the blah blah blah.
Yeah, he killed some such.
And Arthur's like, what?
And it's, again, all these fantastic names for these New York gangs. If I had been a teenager or older in the 80s, I would have joined a gang if they had these great names.
Yeah, like...
I want to be called Featherhoof of the fucking Quasars, or, member of Black Sabbath. I mean, fuck. So, Ash's the gang wars have begun, and Ash's group is, even though they're only like 12 kids, there's only like 12 of them, and they're just laying out all these gangs.
Yeah, they're definitely, they've gone straight murder force here.
Yes, and it's completely one-sided, and I think even Arthur's figured that out, because part of the episode revolves around Ash going to the Black Sabbath to talk with the leader there, and he's like,
yeah, because he doesn't want Black Sabbath involved in this for whatever reason.
Well, they haven't taken a side.
Yeah, they haven't taken a side,
and he just doesn't want them, but at least taking Arthur's side. So he came by himself to basically just say, look, don't butt in. Oh yeah, and also to leave. Like he wants one of their territories or something like that. He just comes in with it,
Yeah, so it's basically that scene from Team America World Police where he goes in, talks to the guy, and he's like, "You have balls."
Oh, okay, yeah.
I like balls. So he gets Black Sabbath to agree to not engage in the gang wars with the stipulation for Black Sabbath of, if any of my guys get fucked up, I'm gonna fuck somebody up.
Yes. Although I did love that the one dude, one of the Black Sabbath members gets all pissy when Ash is like, and you want to give me this territory or whatever, or leave this one territory. And
he wanted them out of downtown.
Downtown is what it was, yeah.
Apparently the most lucrative territory.
Right, and one of the guys gets all upset about it, and he tries to draw a gun, and fucking Ash just, is so fucking fast. Not only did he go and blow a hole through his hand, but before anyone could react, he already had his gun pointed at their leader's face.
Yeah, he's got some speed.
So, then Arthur later tries to negotiate with the same dudes, and he's like, no, we ain't doing that. Ash came by himself, and you gotta bring a whole group of people? I have no respect for that. And he's like, oh, no. So you misunderstand. I'm here because, what did you say? He wants him as a witness? Or something to that effect? Like, Arthur's basically calling out Ash mano a mano, and he wants the leader of the Black Sabbath as a witness or something to that effect?
Well, he was saying this is obvious a trap, and
yeah,
because Arthur wants to get rid of him because he's definitely ruining Arthur's plans.
Yes.
Of rising up into the mafia.
Yep. And so it makes it sound like there's gonna during the opening credits of every episode. There's been that knife fight scene.
Yeah, the knife fight.
I think we're gonna get that next episode. And but apparently, Black Sabbath dude thinks it's he says, it's a trap, right? And Ash's like, yeah, I know. So, does this look like I fucking care? I'm fucking Ash Lynx, bitch. And
yeah, they have all the best names. Why should we be surprised that the gangs have the best names when we have Ash Lynx, Max Lobo, etc., so on and so forth?
Meanwhile, the married couple of AG and Ash continues.
Married with children.
And it literally is, because Ash's gang basically is the children.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. Ash comes home late, and AG is waiting in bed for him, and he's like, hi, honey, how was your day? Yo, you got home late. Was everything okay? It's like, oh my god. It's a goddamn sitcom. It's just a goddamn sitcom. But of course, it sort of devolves
without the canned laughter.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah. There were times where it's like, okay, cue the canned laughter. But there are other times where apparently Ash has a grand scheme of getting AG to hate him, so that he will leave for Japan with eBay.
Yeah. Ash wants AG gone, so he eBayed him tickets. That's just ridiculous to say. Now, I think he's going on to the eBay site, and eBay is an actual person.
Yeah.
He's a chaperone dude of AG, and so he was them both gone back to Japan. So he bought him tickets, and AG's like, "Let's play married couple," and he's like, "I'm gonna get you to eat this natto," which
god, he makes him that fish and natto and onion. So he's described. he's describing the way to make it. Like, you put the onion and the natto and this and the other in the rice, and then you stir it till it's sticky, and it's just sort of like... Ash's face is the same face we had. I'm just sitting there like, ugh.
Yeah, natto is a dish that I would never like to try because it's fermented beans, and I guess you have to leave that out for a long time.
Is this like kimchi, where it's like rotted cabbage and fish sauce? It's like, bleh, bleh. But yeah, it's like he's totally playing a housewife. There's even the scene where he talks where he goes around and he's been befriending all the other housewives in the complex.
Yeah. They're always
Ash's
down in the
housewife.
grocery store.
He's Ash's housewife. Although I did love the scene with the pumpkins. Because he knows Ash is afraid of pumpkins. He tortures him.
Ambushed him.
That was a great scene.
He's like, it's Halloween, man. Boogity boo.
Although it is kind of fun listening to Japanese say trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat!
I like hearing the Japanese anytime they try to do some English and it comes off as English.
Yes. This totally came off as English, and it made me giggle.
This is one of the highlights of watching anime.
Yep.
Anytime they talk in English.
Especially with a series like this where they try to do a lot of English words because it's supposed to be based in New York. Although, one of my highlights of this episode still has to be where Ash meets with Golzine in an airport and basically just declares war on him. And, I mean, it's so badass. Ash is such a badass. Golzine's acting all big and bad. It's like, I'm completely unconcerned. The whole conversation taking place where we only see their eyes and forehead. And, and then a lot of background behind them. I don't know why they drew it that way. But when Ash leaves, it goes back to Golzine and he's just shaking like a fucking leaf. Either from rage or fear, I couldn't tell. Probably both. And, yeah, Ash has just declared war on everybody.
I do like that line that Ash said. He's like, I hope your plane doesn't crash. Because everybody else in that plane will not be able to go to heaven with you there.
Yep. Oh, man. And what makes us the saddest is, as far as this season goes of Anime Talk, with the cliffhanger this episode left it out on, and the gang war, like the Arthur and Ash fight about to happen, this is the last episode of Banana Fish we're going to get to see this season.
Because they are saving us from the recap episode and they're not airing anything next week.
Yep. So, for all intents and purposes, this is the finale. This was the mid-season finale.
Are you also sad that they're going to have a new opening?
A little bit, because I actually grew to really like that song.
Yeah,
but,
I like the song too, and I'm not sure. Maybe they'll get my favorite band, Man with a Mission, and their wolf heads going. But
I hope so. I love those dudes. Oh
God,
God,
could dream?
Inuyashiki. Oh my God, that was so good. But anyway, so yeah, that is Banana Fish. It's done as far as this season of Anime Talk's concerned. Oh, that was a good episode, though. God, it's setting up. It feels like
this is a good show.
Yeah, but like specifically about the episode, though, we'll discuss Banana Fish next week because it's the finale episode for this season.
We just said it wasn't going to be next week.
No, we're going to discuss Banana Fish as a show.
Okay, I see where you're getting.
Because that's what we're going to do with all the shows. We're going to discuss them as a show. And, so we'll discuss what we thought about the show as a whole next week. But this episode definitely makes us want to watch more. It sucks that I had to burp in the middle of that sentence. And
I was about to be like, what's going on here?
It sucks that we can't talk more about it. That I would have loved to have the mid-season finale be with Arthur and Ash having it out. Having that final, having that fight that the damn opening credits has teased this entire fucking time.
See, I'm getting maybe it'll be delayed, like he's trying to trick him or something, and
Yeah.
Arthur is going to survive for longer for whatever reason.
Maybe, I don't know.
But it is kind of a huge tease to put that in your opening and then not have it actually happen in that season, because we did have other things in the open happen in this season.
Yes, and that
things that can't be talked about.
I can't watch the opening though because they show so much shorter and I miss it. I do.
Everybody misses it.
Oh, and briefly there was a Ute Lung scene.
Yeah, we got a short Ute Lung scene with
Sing Su.
And Sing's like, I'm gonna fuck up Ash. And he's like, no, we're in hell. And I'm not telling you why.
He basically, Sing knows that Ash didn't kill him because he wanted to. The shorter, that is. He's fully aware. Ute Lung even tells him.
Ute Lung tells him it was a mercy kill.
But he's like, well, what happened? Tell me. He's like, no, not gonna do it.
This fucking Ute Lung. He's like, nah. I'd rather see you guys fight.
Yeah, it's like, so you still gonna fight Ash? And he's like, yeah, I want my answers. And if you're not gonna give them, well, I'm gonna get them my way. So that's still happening. But it was almost so brief. It was almost, I almost forgot it. It was like, here, done, bye.
Yeah, that was a short sequence.
It was incredibly short. But yeah, so it looks like there's going to be I'm going to predict the second half of the season starts. There's going to be the start of the gang war between Arthur
I want
and.
to see more of these guys die from these badass named gangs, and just see Arthur go, "What? How did he do that?"
We're going to get our Arthur. I am predicting we're going to get our Arthur and Ash fight, but it's going to be interrupted.
Interrupted. Okay.
He's going to be interrupted either by Sing or by some other third party that's going to just come in and interrupt it.
That's what I was predicting. He's going to get out somehow, and he's going to get wasted later this season.
Well, actually, to elaborate more, the trap's going to be sprung. Ash might even get caught by the trap, but his ass is saved due to the intervention of a third party. Not necessarily meaning to save him, but they're intervening.
Okay.
So
that's plausible.
Yeah, that's what I think how it's going to start. Our second half of the season. But whether we actually go on and talk about it in the next season's anime talk is still up in the air. It depends on how many.
Still up in the air.
Depends on what we decide to watch for the fall season. But that's something we will talk about, or at least start discussing in the next episode. Because guys, this is the end of. This is the end of this episode, so...
Yeah, next week is going to be short and abridged because Jashin-chan's gone, no banana fish, and we've only got 3 episodes.
But, I mean, it may actually be longer, who knows, because the other 3 episodes, we're going to talk about the episodes, but we're also going to elaborate about the series as a whole. So, there's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot to go through. Have your guys' thoughts ready, to be put in the comments below what you thought of these shows, what we thought about them. It sounded like you were about to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
So, guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and end this episode here. It's been a fantastic ride. I hope you guys are looking forward to the finales as much as we are. If you enjoyed this episode, if you liked what we said, didn't like what we said, have some kind of arguments or debates, let us know in the comments below.
Please, no arguments.
Well, debate.
I will debate people.
Yeah, I'm not saying... I misused argument. Debate. If you wish to open a dialogue about your view of what we've said versus your view of what you saw versus our view of what we saw, you could open a dialogue for debate.
Yeah, you don't really want somebody coming down there and be like, I don't like you, Featherhoof, your head's too bald.
Too late, I've already had that. I'm not kidding, I literally had that on Twitter.
It's Twitter, man. What did you expect?
I was called a skinhead and a Nazi because my picture, because of my baldness. I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious. Because apparently this doesn't count. But all this here doesn't count. Apparently I'm a skinhead. But
Good stuff.
So guys, with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know with a like, comment, subscribe.
Jashin-chan.
Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, share it, or you can click on the annotations for other videos we've done. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.